Live from Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is SportsBash, presented by Ticketbash.com. Ticketbash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. SportsBash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. SportsBash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention SportsBash and get that delicious, scrumptious, outstanding free dessert with your meal. I think I just made Tony hungry. By Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at coachescollectiblesny.com, and stay tuned later in the show to find out about the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Later in the show, we'll tell you about next week's Marty Lyons Foundation Annual Gala. Hi again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. Happy Friday, a special Friday edition of Sports Bash here at Governor's Comedy Club. And we again apologize for not having shows on Tuesday and Thursday. As many of you know, there was some ongoing construction work going on, so we are very, very lucky, and we thank Tony Walker and everybody here for having us here on this Friday. Phone number to call is 516-465-3990. That is the number to call to join the program. Make sure you're following Sports Bash Media at all the usual places: X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Make sure you're subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcast on YouTube and Facebook. And the reason why you want to do that is that when we do go on, you'll get notified. If you subscribe and we go on the air, you'll know that there's a new show on. So that's always good to do. And Sports Bash is now also available on Apple Music, and Spotify. So you can check us out audio only over there. Later in the show, very excited about this today. We're going to be joined by former Jet safety Kenny Schroy. Kenny is the co-founder of the Marty Lyons Foundation. We'll also talk to him about next week's Marty Lyons Foundation Gala that's going to take place. And I'm very, very thankful to the Marty Lyons Foundation for sending over this Kenny Schroy jersey. And Kenny, listen, I love that Jets team growing up. Should I move it? Can you see it?
Just
let me bring it up there.
Come towards me. There you go.
There we go. Yep. Right there? That's
right
good.
There's perfect.
Yeah, cover my ugly face. There we go. You know how much I love those Jet teams, late 70s, early 80s, through the 80s. And Kenny was one of the best. A great defensive back, a safety for the Jets. And we're going to talk to him, and I'm going to keep the jersey out here in front of me for the show, and we'll show it again later on when Kenny is on. But actually, Kenny co-founded the Marty Lyons Foundation with Marty, a little over 40 years ago. So we'll talk to Kenny about that. We'll talk to him about the current Jets and what it was like to play for the Jets back in the day. That's coming up a little bit later on. We'll also have What's Hot at Ticketbash.com, the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll check out the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. I already mentioned Tony Walker, my producer and the host of the Knock 'em Dead comedy show, heard Monday through Friday from 11 to 12:30, preceding us normally on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but Tony is on every day because he's the boss and he has the keys, so he can come in here anytime he wants and do a show. So that's Tony, and of course we'll hear from Tony at times throughout the show, especially when we do the poll question later on. Timing obviously is everything in sports, and there are so many things that happened this week, and not being on Tuesday and Thursday, obviously a little disappointing. We didn't get to talk too much about the Jets news that took place this week, and I want to get to that at some point, and I'll talk to Kenny Schroy about it a little bit later on in the show. And there's a number of different ways we can go. But I wanted to start talking a little baseball today, if I can indulge everybody. Don Mattingly is where I wanted to start today, and it's funny because Don Mattingly made it to the World Series for the first time in his career as a coach, player, manager. He had never been to the World Series until this year with the Toronto Blue Jays, and obviously you know how that ended for him. They were 3 outs away from winning the World Series, and it didn't happen, and that was terribly upsetting. If you are like me and you're a Yankee fan and you really fell in love with Don Mattingly during that era of Yankee baseball that for the most part was not very good. I mean, when Mattingly came up, the Yankees were not great. Obviously, they got good in in 85 or 84 he won the batting title. But then 85 the MVP, and he was great for those number of years. But he never got to the playoffs with the Yankees until 1995. And then that was it. His career with the Yankees was over. He went on to be a coach and manager and everything. But the sad part is, I mean, he represents an era of Yankee history that he was beloved by Yankee fans, but the Yankees just didn't win anything until they got to the playoffs and lost in the wild card round to the Seattle Mariners. And I remember being at Yankee Stadium when he hit that home run that tore the roof off the place. And you just thought maybe the Yankees have a little mojo that year, and it just didn't work out. But I think the feeling was mixed among Yankee fans. Like, I really didn't know what to do. Like, I was happy for Don Mattingly that he got to the World Series. And at the end of the day, I really kind of, even though the Blue Jays beat the Yankees in the playoffs, I kind of wanted the Blue Jays to win the World Series. I don't know, that might not be a popular feeling among Yankee fans, losing to your Eastern Division rivals, but did you really want to see the Dodgers win again? I think a lot of Yankee fans were pulling for Don Mattingly. The reason why I bring Mattingly up is that he is no longer employed by the Toronto Blue Jays. He has stepped away as the bench coach, but he is not retired. He still wants to be involved with baseball, and that brings up an interesting situation for Donnie Baseball. There's only one manager's job that's open right now, and that's the Colorado Rockies. And he admitted during an appearance at the MLB store in Manhattan yesterday when they announced the Gold Glove stuff, it really is not a fit for him to be the manager there because, look, he's a really good manager. I mean, he did a really good job with the Dodgers. He even did a good job with the Marlins, given the state of that franchise. But for him to step in as a manager right now, he really has to come to a team that is a good team, that might need a little better leadership, go in the right direction to win a World Series, a.k.a. the Yankees. So Colorado is not a fit for him, and he was asked about coming to the Yankees, and, you saw the look on his face. It's like, well, I'm not just right now chilling a little bit and whatever. But when I saw that he was now available, and you know how I feel about Aaron Boone, I think a lot of Yankee fans share the same thing. If only Mattingly had shaken loose before it was announced that Boone was coming back. But still, if you're the Yankees and one of the most beloved players of all time is out there for you right now, and you can bring him onto the staff, whether it's bench coach or consultant, whatever it is, I mean, we can't let him slip away again. He retired as a player, and you remember after the Yankees lost the World Series in 2003 to the Marlins, the bats just went totally silent in that World Series. They brought Don Mattingly in as the hitting coach, and then the Yankees have a 3-0 lead against the Red Sox. Bless you, Tony. A 3-0 lead against the Red Sox in the ALCS. We know how that wound up because Mattingly was one game away from going to the World Series for the first time. But when I saw that, I immediately retweeted, the tweet that I had seen, like, Yankees, bring this man home. You got to bring Donnie Baseball back to the Bronx. And there's a common reason why the Yankees would, and there's a common reason why the Yankees would not. The reason why the Yankees would not bring him back as a coach is that it would really put Aaron Boone in a compromising position, because here you would have a Yankees legend on the coaching staff. And if you get off to a bad start, they're going to put Mattingly in there as manager. And the reason why you would do it is for the very same reason, is you bring Mattingly in to put the pressure on Aaron Boone, and you make the fan base happy, and you bring this legend back who's, his knowledge of baseball is just through the roof. Like, he's a Yankee legend. The fans still love him. You still go to games and you see 23 jerseys all over Yankee Stadium. And I think it would be an immense lift to the organization if you brought him back. I think it's a no-brainer. Now, I know why Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone would not want that to happen. I don't know what Hal Steinbrenner is thinking either way, but how cool would that be? I mean, he represents for me. I mean, at that time, following the Yankees, he was my favorite player. And just like everybody else that was a fan of Mattingly and the Yankees, I had the Hitman poster. How great was that poster? And I wish I still had my original one, but you see images all the time where he, obviously his nickname was the Hitman. And there's this great poster of Don Mattingly in this pinstripe suit, and he's got he looks like he's a hitman. And it's one of the great posters of all time that, and it would be so cool if they brought him back. I really think, and I think he would bring so much to the Yankees right now as they try to find their way back into, World Series contention. I know they made the playoffs this year, but I don't want to see the Yankees lose him again. And I think it would be foolish on the Yankees' part to not have him as part of the organization. I mean, you bring all these other legendary players back. Andy Pettit's got a special assistant to Brian Cashman, and and you see the former Yankees like Tino and Posada and all these guys come back. Ron Guidry comes to spring training as an instructor, and just to have Don Mattingly back with the Yankees organization, I think maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part, but yes, thumbs up. You got the nice job by Tony to get the Schwartz on Sports with the Yankees thumbs up. Yes, thumbs up. Don Mattingly back with the Yankees. We hope that would happen. Again, I don't know if the Yankees would even be interested in that, but just the fact that he's coming off of going to the World Series with the Blue Jays, his experience, and remember, he was a hitting coach under Joe Torre, and went with Joe Torre out to L.A. with the Dodgers, and then obviously made his way to the Marlins. But how great would it be if they were just able to bring Donnie Baseball back home to the Bronx? I know there's a lot of Yankee fans that feel that way. And let me Tony is a huge Mets fan, but obviously he's also a New York baseball fan as well. Don Mattingly is a free agent right now as far as coach manager is concerned. If you're Brian Cashman, would you do what you could to try and make Mattingly a part of the Yankee organization?
Yeah, I agree totally with what you're saying. Bring him in at any position just so he's there for when Boone is done.
Right. Bring him in. You turn that wrench on Aaron Boone. But if we forget about that, just he's a Yankee.
Right.
Fans
would love it.
I hated seeing just like when you root for a player and it's just god awful to see him wearing another uniform. And I don't care what sport it is. Joe Namath wore an LA Rams jersey his last year, and that obviously annoyed a lot of Jet fans. And Darrelle Rivas went off to the Buccaneers and the Chiefs and won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. Even Joe Klecko finished his career with the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, it's hard to see a guy put another uniform on. And for Don Mattingly, and listen, you can make the argument that Don Mattingly should be in the Hall of Fame. He's got his number retired by the Yankees, and when you look at his career and the amount of dominant seasons that he had, if you put it up against other players of his era, I mean, he is worthy of World Series of a Hall of Fame consideration. Listen, it sucked watching him put a Dodger jersey on, and it sucked watching him put a Marlins jersey on. He is not a Dodger, he is not a Marlin, and he is certainly not a Blue Jay, although he went to the World Series with them. But he is a New York Yankee, and the Yankees should do whatever they could and just figure out a way to get him back in the organization. And listen, if it makes Aaron Boone sweat a little bit, so be it. Absolutely so be it. And considering the way the season ended for the Yankees, I mean, it would just be such a shot in the arm for Yankee fans. I can't imagine how excited everybody. I know I would. And I would probably, I haven't had a Don Mattingly jersey. I had one years ago, and obviously it would fit on my finger right now. But, I mean, I'm sure you would, especially if he was a coach, you'd have a ton of Yankee fans going out and getting Mattingly jerseys again. So just think about it, if the Yankees thought about it from a baseball standpoint and also from a business standpoint. If you brought him back, think about the jerseys you're going to sell, and just to create the excitement. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. Maybe that's why I'm sitting here doing a talk show and not, the GM or the president of a baseball team. But to me, it just makes all the sense in the world. Even if it's not the job that he would immediately want, bring him back. Get him back in the organization. And if Aaron Boone doesn't like it, tough shit. Tony likes it when I curse on the show. But that's how I feel. If Aaron Boone doesn't like it, tough shit. So I would do whatever it takes to bring him back. And that's how I wanted to start the show today, because when I saw that he was available, and you saw it all over social media. I posted it. Tons of other Yankee fans posted it yesterday too. It would be so awesome if he was able to come back to the organization. And we have a few minutes left before the break, and I'll ask Kenny Schroy about this when I have him on after the break. But I want to bring up my own thoughts, because I obviously wanted to bring it up earlier in the week. And this one trade, if we were on Tuesday as normal, one trade would have happened before the show and one trade would have happened after the show. So I would have only been able to cover the Sauce Gardner trade on the show. And if we were on Thursday, we would have covered everything. But I couldn't go to break without giving my 2 cents on the Jets at the trading deadline. When I first heard that they had traded Sauce Gardner, I'm like, what are we doing here? Why are we trading Sauce Gardner? You just signed him to an extension. And I know he hasn't been having a great year, especially the last couple of years, but he is still one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. And you drafted him, and he was defensive rookie of the year, and you would seem he could be a lifelong Jet. But then you see the return, because I first tweeted WTF, like when you trade Sauce Gardner. What are they doing? And then you see the return, and it's 2 first-round picks and a young wide receiver. A no-brainer. You just cleared salary. You could be 1-7 with Sauce Gardner, and you could be 1-7 without him. And now Darren Muji, the GM, and Aaron Glenn, they could start to put their own stamp on this team. It's a no-brainer, and I love Sauce Gardner, and I wish him the best against the Colts, unless they're playing the Jets. But you have to make that trade. I mean, that is an unbelievable offer. And how about this? I just saw on the scroll watching ESPN yesterday that Sauce Gardner cleared concussion protocol yesterday. So not only did the Jets get 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, the Colts gave up 2 first-round picks for a player that was in concussion protocol. I mean, Darren Muji should be GM of the year just for that. And you get a young wide receiver who should be able to help out. And then they make the Quinnen Williams trade. And again, oh my God, you're trading another cornerstone piece of your defense. And granted, the defense has been totally underwhelming this year. But then you see the return. A first-round pick, a second-round pick, and another player. And again, you think about what the Jets accomplished on Tuesday. They got 3 first-round picks, a second-round pick, 2 players, cap relief, and basically, in one full swoop, hitting Control-Alt-Delete on what the Jets are doing. Because at the beginning of the year, the Jets created this mirage that they were going to try to win. They brought Justin Fields in to play quarterback, and they thought, well, maybe they can be somewhat competitive. Now they're 1-7. They're not going anywhere. So you might as well start to create some draft capital and finally draft that franchise quarterback and also other pieces around him. And now the Jets are going to have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. Now, this year, if they don't get the first overall pick, I mean, that's a costly win that they had against Denver 2 weeks ago. But if the Jets finish with the first pick, second pick, third pick, they should be able to get a quarterback this year, and they'll probably suck next year too. So they'll have 2 cracks in 2027 to get a franchise quarterback. And I totally support what the Jets did. And now you've got a chance to see some younger players playing the rest of the season, and now you can really start that Marty Lyons Foundation draft party in April is going to be a lot of fun. because the Jets are going to have, as it stands now, unless they make a trade, I mean, they could always move up or move out of the first round with one of those picks. But that's going to be a fun night for the Jets to have 3 first-round picks in the 2026 draft. We will talk more Jets and Marty Lyons Foundation stuff with one of the greatest players, I think, in Jets history, and he will yell at me for saying that, but he was a terrific safety for the Jets, late 70s early, and through the 80s. Kenny Schroy is going to join us here on the program when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention SportsBash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow, and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention SportsBash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Despite an injury to defensive co-captain Bobby Jackson, the secondary was consistent, as performers like number 48 Ken Schroy forced quarterbacks to operate in a vacuum. Despite an injury to defensive co-captain Bobby Jackson, the secondary was consistent, as performers like number 48 Ken Schroy.
Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. We just saw a highlight from the 1981 Jets highlight film of an interception by my guest on the show today, one of the members of the Jets in the late 70s and into the mid-80s, a great part of that Jets defense. And he also would go on to help co-found the Marty Lyons Foundation that is over 40 years old and doing some great things. And I want to welcome to the show someone who I rooted for growing up as a kid, as a Jets fan, and now I'm glad to call him a friend. I want to welcome to the show former Jet safety Kenny Schroy. Kenny, it's Peter. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Peter.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on was obviously, as I just mentioned, you and you helped Marty, found the Marty Lyons Foundation more than 40 years ago. And next week is on Thursday, November 13th, the Marty Lyons Foundation annual gala at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. It's a wonderful event, and for you and also for Marty and everybody that's involved in the foundation, thinking about how the foundation started to where it is right now, and it's going to be a big celebration of that on next Thursday night. How happy and proud are you of how the foundation has evolved over the years and continuing to make wishes come true for kids who are going through a really hard time?
Well, that's some 40 years ago. It doesn't seem like it's that far back. Marty, we talked about it way back when we were still roommates with the Jets playing. One game, we were on a away game, and he started talking to me and decided that he wanted to start a foundation and asked me if I'd help him. And of course, we were running buddies, and we were going to visiting hospitals anyway, and so we started it up, and weren't sure if we could, but we got some great people behind us, and 40-some years later, we're still going strong.
Could you have imagined, and I've talked to Marty obviously a lot about this, but could you have imagined that the foundation would get to this point where it's not just going strong here on Long Island and in the New York area, but to have chapters of the foundation all over the country?
Absolutely not. I did not realize it would grow the way it did. I envisioned a couple chapters on Long Island because that's where we live, and concentrate there, but Marty wanted to branch out, and he went to a bunch of different states that we're licensed in, and so we're kind of giving wishes to children all over the United States.
And it's a wonderful foundation, and obviously it's heartwarming to see what you have all been able to do, not just you and Marty, but the other people who work for the foundation and all the volunteers, of which my family and I are very proud to be volunteers with the foundation. But to see all the work that goes into something like next Thursday, the gala, and I've been to it now with my family a few years in a row now, it's such a special night where you get to not only celebrate what you have accomplished, but also look ahead to what still lies ahead for so many of these families that are just going through a very difficult time.
I know it's so sad to see, and at the gala, Marty usually presents one of the children with their wish right in front of everybody, which is kind of cool. And I'm sure I'll do it again this year. He keeps that mum to me. Doesn't tell me about that.
Well, last year, Kenny, was really cool because it was that young man who loved planes and the Army, and they gave him that wonderful experience where he was going to get to see the planes here on Long Island and go. I think he was being sent to Hawaii to see an Air Force base there. I mean, that was an incredible moment when they surprised him and his family with that last year.
Yeah, that was a different kind of wish, and he was so happy about that. I mean, that was his passion, and it was great to see a smile on his face for a change, And that's what we're all about, Let's try to put a smile on these kids' face and forget about what they're going through. And Marty does a great job. I don't know if I know you've heard him speak. He is one of the best speakers I've ever heard, and it comes from the heart. And he never has anything prepared that I see written down. He just
he's off he goes off whatever script he might have in front of him, Kenny. I don't even know if he has anything like you just said, but the way he gets up there and commands the room and speaks so eloquently, and he gets emotional at times, which I think just shows the type of human being that he is, and you are also as well. But when you see Marty speak, the whole room is captivated for every word that comes out of his mouth. Yep,
that's because that's Marty, and he demands quiet. If you take notice, he will not start anything unless it's quiet. He wants everybody. He wants his message to get out to everyone and to everybody here to hear his appreciation to all the volunteers, and then he gets into the wishes, and he does such a great job, and it's a great night because we all come together and mingle and have cocktails, and it's just a wonderful night.
It is fun, and it's not just you and Marty and the volunteers. There's other former Jets that come, and other invited guests from around the Long Island community and the sports world. And I think there still might be some tickets available. So if anybody wants, they can go to www.martylionsfoundation.org. It's at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale next Thursday, November 13th. And just on a personal note, the foundation means so much, as you know, to me and my family. A couple of years ago, my son Jared was getting bar mitzvahed, and when you get bar mitzvahed, you have to do what's called a bar mitzvah project. And we said to Jared, what do you want to do? And he thought about it for a while, and he said, I want to do a flag football game at this field near our house, and I want to be able to donate the proceeds to the Marty Lyons Foundation. And as you know, he did this. He had friends come over. They paid to be in the game. My older son Bradley was the referee, and a bunch of his friends, Jared's friends, played in this game. And we had donations from sports teams all over the area. And we did a raffle in front of our house. And Kenny Zor was there with the foundation tent. We raised a good deal of money. Well, I shouldn't say we. It was Jared who came up with the idea for it, and the young man who wanted to go to Disney, and I guess he was just too ill to be able to go to Disney, so they did some other things for him. I think there was a computer and some other things, and I was glad to hear a couple of weeks ago that the young man is actually doing very well. So sometimes the wish is granted, and the end of the story is not very happy, because unfortunately a lot of the stories don't end well. But in this case, the young man is doing very well, and I think we're all very, very happy about that.
Well, that's our goal. I mean, let's help them get through this and survive their illness, and that's why Marty and the foundation is around. We if we hear of a child sick, we're right there. We're going to see them. We're going to see what we can do for them. It's just part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And Marty considers every one of the children part of the family.
Yep.
And, we'll do anything we can, besides the wish, if we can.
Absolutely.
We're surely not closed-minded, and we have one thing on our mind, and that is just helping those sick kids.
No question. We're talking to former Jet safety Kenny Schroy here on SportsBash, and Kenny is also the co-founder of the Marty Lyons Foundation. The Marty Lyons Foundation annual gala is next Thursday, November 13th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. Obviously, Kenny, having you on the show, I have to ask you about your time, with the Jets. Back in the day, there were some really good seasons. For me as a Jet fan growing up, the teams that you were on, that's what got me, hooked on football. Coming out to Shea with my dad and sitting in the upper deck a number of times, cheering you guys on. And you had some really good years there. And for you, over your career, 113 games, you had 16 interceptions, 11 fumble recoveries. There was a pick six in there. I think you also had a 51-yard kickoff return because you returned some kicks during your career. So when you think back on your Jets career, how fond was that time for you?
Well, it was the furthest thing from my mind when I was growing up in college that I'd be on a pro team. So to get there, it was difficult, but boy, I was very, very, very proud to be there, and there isn't anything I wouldn't do to stay there. So I played on every special team they asked me to play on, any kind of nickel, dime, whatever I went in the beginning. And it wasn't long before I became the strong safety permanently. But, we always got some of the Jets to help us. So we go to hospitals to visit. So, we tried to get our guys more closer together. So we used to have different events just for the players, like Monday afternoon court. I mean, that was a place where we would go to an establishment and we talk about things that happened in the game.
Yep.
It's just we were very close back then. I'm not sure if these guys do that this time. The way things are now. I don't see that happening. They're recognized outside. There's so many cameras that will take pictures of them. So you don't find that anymore.
Yeah,
so,
back when you played, there was no smartphone. So if you walked in somewhere with Marty and a bunch of the guys, you would have had cell phones out. People taking pictures of you guys all the time. So I don't think you'd be able to get away with that today.
I totally agree, and I played at the right time. There was no cell phone.
Kenny, did you like returning kicks? Because obviously we know how good of a safety you were, but when I was looking back at your numbers and the kick returns and the punt return numbers stood out to me, did you enjoy returning kicks when you played?
I did it all my life, from high school all the way up. I always had good hands. So kickoff returns and punt returns, I was always the one doing that.
Right.
I just had good hands. I could concentrate, and and fair catch it when I had to. But I did not mind that at all. I know Bruce Harper tells me a lot of times he hated it.
But he was so good at it.
He was.
I've interviewed him a number of times, and he never brought up that he hated it.
Yeah, especially punt returns, because he had me back there, me and him. He was supposed to get the ball all the time, so I stood very, very close to him. And I was his personal blocker. I was going to make sure that nobody was going to come down there and clock him.
Yeah,
and that was my job.
Yeah,
and a lot of times the sprint man or somebody in the middle is flying down there, and it's my job to not let Bruce get cut in half. And there was a couple of close calls. And he used to come off the field and say, "Hey, Kenny, that was a little close." And I looked at him, I said, "Hey, Bruce, how many yards did you gain?" He said, "Okay."
Yeah. It all worked out. It all worked out.
It all worked out. Yeah, I mean, that's the way we communicated. It was fun. I don't know if the guys are having fun or if they're all in tune with making money instead. I mean, money's important. There's no doubt about it. But
Money's pretty good.
Come on, guys. Man. I mean, you're asking for over your value. Then naturally, you're going to be traded or cut. And it's you outprice yourself sometimes. And, free agency is free agency, and it's sad to me to see rookies that hype the draft picks like Gardner, who comes in, gets all this money, then he signs again for all this money, and the guy was terrific coverage, but the guy couldn't tackle.
Yeah,
and that really ticked me off. I could not believe he could not tackle. And that might be one of the reasons they let him go too. I don't know.
I was going to ask you your thoughts because I shared my thoughts at the beginning of the show about the two trades that took place on Tuesday, Sauce Gardner and also Quinnen Williams, and the Jets recouping 3 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and 2 young players in those 2 trades. As a former Jet and someone who still watches the team closely, did you think that was a good day for the Jets?
I surely hate missing the guys that got traded, no doubt about it. But to gain draft capital and first-round and second-round picks, you have to do that, especially if you're in a rebuilding mode. And I think Aaron Glenn is. He saw what type of players he had the last few games and didn't like what he saw, so he's starting to make some moves. And hopefully he brings in players that are even better. I know on top of that list, it better be quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
So, cornerbacks are unique and a specialty that is very difficult to do. So getting rid of Sauce Gardner definitely must have been a very hard decision. But, getting first round, second round picks, whatever they got for him, I think that's a plus, and it's going to help them in the long run.
And the Jets will have 3 first-round picks in the first round as it stands now, unless they make other trades. But right now, the Jets will have 3 first-round picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. And the other part of the good news there is that it's going to make it a lot more fun to be at the Marty Lyons Foundation draft party in April, because now, and if people don't know, I am the host of that event, and Marty is there, and Kenny is there, and a bunch of other former Jets, and you fill up Great South Bay Brewery, and that's going to be a fun night. If the Jets hold on to all 3 first-round picks, that's going to be a fun night there at Great South Bay come April.
Oh, I think they're going to hold on to them. Yeah. I just have a feeling, the team, I just don't know how the team is going to respond. I hope in a good way. Yeah. I mean, the young guys that are there, they have to prove themselves. So they have to really get better. And this is the way of doing it. So
absolutely.
We'll see what happens. I'm still a Jets fan, and
so am I. And, I've survived this, Kenny. I've survived this long. I can survive. We'll get that Super Bowl at some point. But I wanted to close with this, and I know you can't see it. Well, maybe you'll watch it with your lovely wife Susan on replay. But I'm holding up your jersey that I got from the foundation, and I just wanted to let everybody know that if you want to get one of these, Kenny Schroy jerseys, or one that looks just like it with Lions 93, and I think there's a few other players that the foundation has. And if you want to make a donation to the Marty Lyons Foundation and get one of these great Jet jerseys, and the thing about this for Kenny Schroy, it's got a bunch of his career accolades at the bottom of the jersey. Safety, founder, Marty Lyons Foundation, the 113 games, 16 interceptions, 11 fumble recoveries, JETS, Jets. I'm going to hold it up one more time. So again, this jersey could be yours with a donation to the Marty Lyons Foundation. And if you still want to, you can come out to the gala next Thursday, November 13th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. Kenny Schroy, my guest. Kenny, my friend, thank you so much for spending some time on the show, and looking forward to seeing you and Susan at the event next Thursday.
Oh, geez, Peter. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you calling. I always like to talk to you. Football is in my blood. I still bleed green.
And by the way, let me just also, not to cut you off, but I meant to bring this up. But people have heard me talk publicly about it. But if it wasn't for your wife Susan, I would not have known what jeweler to go to get the engagement ring for Cheryl. And you're laughing because you know the story. So many years ago when I worked at ESPN Radio, my girlfriend at the time, Cheryl, and I were at the Bon Jovi concert. Not the Bon Jovi, I'm sorry, Bruce Springsteen concert at Giant Stadium. We were in the Jet Suite, and Susan thought we were a lovely couple, and she told me, oh, you got to go call John Paradiso and get the ring. The next day at training camp, Bob Parente, who used to work for the Jets, comes in and says to me in the press room, I hear you're looking for this, and he gives me John Paradiso's card, and it was all because of your wife, Susan, and you for bringing her to the event that night as well, so thank you for that.
Yep. Yeah, I can't tell you how many Jet players bought their wives' engagement rings here. And there were some Giants, too. So absolutely. John Paradiso has a great reputation.
Well, I can tell you right now, I walked into his place, and I saw all those pictures of the NFL players up on the wall, and he came out to talk to me, and I said to him, before we even get started, I don't have the same budget that those guys have, but he still took very, very good care of us. I can tell you that.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear. That's good to hear. Peter.
Absolutely. Well, Kenny, thanks again. We'll see you and Susan next week at the gala.
Yes, you will, Peter, and thank you for the call.
Awesome. Thanks. Kenny Schroy.
Go Jets. Go Jets.
Jets, Jets. Thank you, Kenny.
No matter what.
Yeah, there you go.
Take care.
Yeah, till I'm 6 feet under. I'll be
here. That's right. All right. Take care, Peter.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Kenny. Kenny Schroy, former Jet safety. And again, the Marty Lyons Foundation Gala, Thursday, November 13th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. Still more to come here on Sports Bash. Coming up next, we've got what's hot at ticketbash.com, the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. It's coming back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Peter Schwartz back with you, 516-465-3990. The number to call. Great spot we just had with former Jet safety Kenny Schroy, and we talked a lot about the Marty Lyons Foundation Gala next Thursday at Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. But I'm telling you, the thing I took most out of that interview, in addition to the great stuff we talked about the foundation, but when Kenny said to me, and I was talking to Tony about this during the break, it blew my mind that he said that Bruce Harper hated returning kicks. I mean, one of the great kick returners in the history of the NFL hated returning kicks. That's crazy. See, now you know what we have to do. Now we have to find out if that was a real story or not, because now I'm going to have to get Bruce Harper on the show. And we'll see Bruce Harper at some point here. At one of these events, we'll see Bruce Harper because he comes to a lot of the Marty Lyons Foundation events. But that blows my mind. And look, you know how much of a Jet fan I am. Loved watching Bruce Harper. He was a dynamic kick returner. Wow. I can't. You're laughing because I'm stupefied by that. We got to find that out. All right. We got to work on getting Bruce Harper on the show now. And again, this segment of Sports Bash is also brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage. Don't forget to mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. Wow, I am so stupefied. I'm hungry now. It is time for What's Hot at Ticketbash.com on the local sports calendar. Tonight, the Islanders host the Wild. It's Military Appreciation Night at UBS Arena. They have a lot of good things planned if you want to go to the Islander game tonight. The Nets host the Pistons at Barclays Center. On Saturday, this is going to be a good one. Tomorrow at Madison Square Garden, St. John's taking on Alabama. On Saturday night at the Garden, the Rangers will host the Islanders. So the first battle in New York is tomorrow night. It's a busy day at the Garden. They'll have the basketball game in the afternoon, and then they'll do the switch over and have hockey at night. It's pretty cool. You see those time-lapse videos are really cool when an arena changes over in one day from one sport to the other. It's pretty cool. Tomorrow afternoon, the Devils host the Penguins at Prudential Center. Sunday, the Jets host the Browns. And by the way, the Jets are reminding everybody who's coming to the game on Sunday to make sure you get in your seats early because the Jets are going to have a tribute to the late Nick Mangold before the game on Sunday. So if you're heading out to MetLife Stadium to see the Jet game, make sure you get there early, leave a little extra early, make sure you pack up that tailgate party a little bit early, get into the seats, and watch that ceremony. It's going to be a very emotional day. And also on Sunday night, the Knicks will host the Nets at the Garden. Upcoming shows and concerts. The Christmas Spectacular starring the Rockettes gets underway at Radio City Music Hall on November 7th. The Jonas Brothers are at UBS Arena November 19th and December 21st. Stevie Nicks will be at Barclays Center on November 19th. Get tickets to these events and more at the lowest prices with no service fees at ticketbash.com. It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new question every Tuesday and Thursday. In this case, we're on Friday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. And we talked about this at the beginning of the show. We talked about it with Kenny Schroy. Jet fans, are you happy with the Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams trades? You heard what I said about it before. I love it. I think with it, two great moves. The Jets had to make it, Tony. Two good moves for the Jets because they're going nowhere this year anyway. Might as well get those draft picks, right?
My thoughts exactly. I was going to originally say too early to tell, but based on what you said in the beginning, I am convinced.
Absolutely. And I thank you, Tony, for agreeing with me once in a while. So, yes, the three choices are yes, no, and too early to tell. I'm going with yes on that. It is time for the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. And this is, again, I should have mentioned before, those jerseys that the Marty Lyons Foundation have, whether it's Marty Lyons jerseys or Kenny Schroy, and I think they have some Curtis Martin jerseys as well, are made or come from Coach's Collectibles. And you'll see what we have here is a similar jersey, but it's a Joe Namath jersey with his historical information on it, and it's wonderful. It's autographed. Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. For more information, visit coachescollectiblesny.com. Speaking of Joe Namath, a little interesting tidbit. I have a mini Jets helmet at home, and I have a number of Super Bowl III Jets who have autographed that particular helmet. I've got Matt Snell, I've got Emerson Boozer, I've got Don Maynard, and I also have John Schmidt, the center. Those 4 guys have their signatures. Now, you notice a glaring name that's missing from that helmet? Joe Willie. Well, I talked to somebody today who's going to see Joe Willie in a couple of weeks, and I think I'm going to get the helmet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So here's my question now. The person that's going to do it, a dear friend of mine, do I trust him? He has to go down to Florida for an event with Joe Namath. I said, can you bring the helmet with you? And he said, yes, we have to get a number of things signed by Joe. And I'm like, I am going to trust you with this. It's one of my prized possessions. I'm going to trust you with this, and you will get it autographed, right? And he goes, yes, but listen, you can't get it mixed up with any of your other stuff. I got to have this helmet back or it's your ass. Like, he goes, don't worry about it. I'll get it taken care of. So I'm 99% sure I'm gonna roll the dice and roll the dice. Absolutely. Tony says roll it. Okay, well, if it means getting Joe Willie's autograph on that helmet, I think we're gonna do it. So hopefully we'll get that done. And you know who you are. You're watching the show. I know you know I'm not gonna put your name out there. I may have already mentioned his name on the show once before, earlier today, but you know who you are. And I'm going to trust you with that helmet to make sure that helmet gets signed by Joe Namath in a couple of weeks. Where am I up to here? I lost my place. Oh, Marty Lyons Foundation. Yes, of course. The 4th annual Marty Lyons Foundation Evening of Thanks Gala is coming up Thursday, November 13th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. The foundation will be honoring wishes granted in 2025 and members of the Marty Lyons Foundation family. There will be raffle prizes and a special live wish reveal. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Also, the John Thiessen Children's Foundation will hold their annual holiday gala on Thursday, December 4th at Mulcahy's in Wantagh. The foundation is celebrating 34 years of giving. For more information, please visit jtcf.org or call 516-679-5098. John Thiessen will be in studio with us this Tuesday, November 11th. He will be the FOP, friend of Peter. So John will be in studio with us for the whole hour on Tuesday. And I think we're going to have to give the Embassy Diner a good little call on Tuesday to bring over some holiday food for us, maybe a little early holiday food. You're pointing at me.
Speaking of the Embassy Diner.
Yes.
You recommended, if you remember 2 weeks ago.
To those 3 young ladies who were here a couple of weeks ago.
They raved about the place.
Really?
They loved it. They did not have time to stay because they had to go back to Jersey, so they did not have time to get their free dessert. But they raved about the place. They said to me, please tell that gentleman thank you for us.
Did they see Gus? Do we know if they had any interaction with Gus?
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure about that.
Well, it could have been Gus. It could have been his brother. Could have been his father, Peter.
It's top-notch no matter who it was.
No matter who you deal with over there. It is absolutely top-notch. Next Thursday, November 13th, we have a big show, and we had to move some things around because of the studio issues this week. But next Thursday, we're going to be joined in studio by singer Mark McLaughlin and former NFL player Gary Brown. They'll be part of the second annual We Huddle to Help flag football game, November 15th at Stotsky Park in Riverhead. So that'll be fun to talk about. They'll be in studio for the first segment to talk about that. Also going to be joined by former Islanders defenseman Dave Langevin. Bammer, as he was known, was a member of all 4 Islanders Stanley Cup teams, and he does not do a lot of interviews. I think I said this on the show last week. So we are very, very pleased to have him on the show and looking forward to talking to him about his time with the Islanders. And, I think his name should be in the Islanders Hall of Fame. I really do. And I think a lot about guys that are missing. And he was such an underrated, I say underrated. I think the hockey world underrated him. I don't think if you were a diehard Islander fan like I was back then, and still am, obviously. But if you follow that team, and obviously you had the big names, the numbers that are retired, the players that are in the Hall of Fame, the Potvins, the Bossies, the Trottiers, the Billy Smiths, all those guys. But he was a rock on defense. He was in the All-Star game that was in Nassau Coliseum in 1983. And if you can't tell, I'm pretty excited to have him on the show next Thursday. And before we say goodbye, I want to thank St. John's Athletic Director Ed Cullen, everybody at St. John's University had a great night Monday at the St. John's season opener, home opener at Carnesecca Arena. They unveiled the championship banners from last year for the Big East regular season and tournament. Great. Look at these great seats that I had courtside at the game. It was wonderful, a full house, and it's electric there now with Rick Pitino. Did we see the Rick Pitino? There's the Rick Pitino picture of him pointing. I saw him walking up the court, and I'm like, I got to get it. And I took the picture just as he was pointing across there. I'm like, that's one of my favorite pictures I've taken. Look at that. He's so intense, and he has turned that program around. And they're hosting Alabama tomorrow at the Garden. But before I finish closing about that, so I was supposed to go with my son, Jared, but he had a school event. So I have promised now to take him to another game very, very soon as he's able. So I needed somebody to take the extra ticket. My wife hates basketball. She would sooner watch paint dry than go to a basketball game, which is fine because she loves going to baseball and football and hockey games with us. So she didn't, obviously I was never going to even think about that. So I'm like, who could I ask to go to the St. John's game with me? And then it dawned on me. My good friend Glenn from Flushing, who calls SportsBash all the time, Glenn Goldstein, my good friend from East Meadow High School, and has been very, very supportive of my career over the years. And I'm thinking, I said, I'm going to call Glenn and ask him if he wants to go, because he goes to a lot of games with his son. So I was more than happy to give that extra ticket, and I didn't tell Glenn where the seats were. So he got the whole Schwartz family treatment on Monday night. We walk in, he's like, where are the seats? I'm like, I don't know, let's go take a look. And I said, oh, row CC. And he goes, row CC? No, because he's used to sitting all the way up on top. And I'm like, oh, no, we're right here. We were in the third row behind the Quinnipiac bench. And he's like, oh, my God, these seats, where'd you get them from? I'm like, I know people. So, I was very, very happy to do that for him. But Glenn, I know you're watching, so thank you very much for coming to the game, and we'll try to do it again really, really soon. But the next extra ticket you're not getting, it's going to Jared, and if Bradley is home from college, it'll be Bradley. And that will do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Thanks to my guest, Kenny Schroy. Thanks to our social media coordinator, Connor Kalb. And also thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governor's. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Coaches Collectibles, and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching. Sports Bash returns on Tuesday at 1. By the way, next week, I forgot to mention this, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Is Wednesday okay for the makeup show, Tony? Wednesday? No? We don't know yet? No, it's not good.
Not good.
It's not good. So we have to come up with another day?
Yes.
You won't be here on Wednesday is what you're saying to me.
No, those three lovely ladies, they're starting a show Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon. So I'm going to have to talk to you about when we're going to do the makeup show. All right, so they can go back to the Embassy Diner. That's it. There you go. Okay, so not too... So how about we make it Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday next week? Does that work? Does Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday work?
No.
No?
Friday? I can do Friday.
Let's tentatively put in Friday. Okay. I should have brought that up to you before I opened up my big mouth. All right. We're definitely back on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody. I got to get to LIU for a hockey game.